Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into complex PTSD. Many of us know PTSD, but complex PTSD is different. It goes beyond just one event. It's about long-term trauma. Deep wounds from abuse, childhood trauma, and veterans' burdens, even job stress. We'll break down 12 symptoms, from nightmares to always being on edge. We're going deep. Understanding is the first step to healing. So, let's get started. The first symptom we're going to explore is flashbacks. Imagine you're at the grocery store or playing with your children, and suddenly it's like you're ripped back in time. The sights, sounds, and feelings of a traumatic event come flooding back. That's a flashback. For someone with complex PTSD, these are visceral experiences that can be utterly terrifying. Flashbacks can be triggered by anything that reminds the person of the trauma, whether it's a certain smell, a song on the radio, or even a specific place. Sleep is supposed to be a time of rest, a chance to recharge. But for someone with complex PTSD, sleep can become a battleground where nightmares steal away peace. Nightmares, vivid and disturbing, are a common symptom. They're often directly related to trauma, replaying terrifying events. Imagine waking up every morning with your heart racing, drenched in sweat. The causes of these nightmares are as varied as the individuals who experience them. You know, after experiencing something truly painful, it's only natural to want to protect yourself from feeling that pain ever again. That's where avoidance comes in. It's like building a wall around those memories, those places, those people, anything that might trigger the hurt. But here's the thing. While avoidance might feel like a lifeline in the short term, in the long run, it can keep us trapped in a cycle of fear and pain. It's like constantly tiptoeing around our own lives, afraid to fully engage with the world. Think about it. If you're always avoiding certain places or activities, you're limiting your world. You're missing out on experiences, on connections, on truly living. And that, my friends, is no way to live. It's important to remember that healing from trauma is possible. It takes time, it takes courage, and it takes reaching out for support. But it is possible to break free from the grip of avoidance and start living a full and meaningful life. Have you ever felt like you're constantly on edge, like you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop? That's hypervigilance. Your mind and body are stuck in survival mode, always scanning for danger, even when there's no immediate threat. It's like your internal alarm system is permanently set to high alert. You might find yourself startled easily, having trouble sleeping, or feeling constantly tense and irritable. It's exhausting, isn't it? And you know, it's no surprise that people who've experienced trauma often struggle with hypervigilance. Their minds and bodies have learned to be on guard, to expect danger around every corner. It's a natural response to living through something terrifying. But here's the thing. Even though hypervigilance served a purpose in the past, in the present, it can keep us from truly healing and moving forward. It's like we're still fighting a battle that's already over. We talk a lot about the importance of feeling our feelings, of allowing ourselves to be vulnerable and open. But what happens when you can't seem to feel anything at all? That's emotional numbness, and it's a very real symptom of complex PTSD. It's like a protective mechanism, a way of shielding ourselves from overwhelming pain and sadness. And it might feel like a relief at first, a break from the intensity of emotions. But here's the thing about numbness. it doesn't just shut down the bad feelings, it numbs everything. It makes it hard to experience joy, love, connection, all those things that make life worth living. And you know, when we numb ourselves to our emotions, we're also numbing ourselves to ourselves. We're disconnecting from our own hearts, our own needs, our own capacity to heal. And that, my friends, can be a lonely and isolating place to be. You know those thoughts? The ones that pop into your head uninvited, like an unwelcome guest who just won't leave? Those are intrusive thoughts, and they're a common symptom of complex PTSD. It's like your mind is replaying a broken record of painful memories, images, or even just words. These thoughts can be absolutely anything, but they're always linked to the trauma you've experienced. Maybe it's a flashback to a specific event, or maybe it's just a feeling of dread or danger. The important thing to remember is that these thoughts are not your fault. They're a normal reaction to trauma, and they don't mean that you're going crazy or that you're a bad person. It's like your mind is trying to process what happened, but it's stuck in a loop. And these thoughts can be incredibly difficult to deal with, but there are ways to manage them. We'll talk more about coping mechanisms later on, but know this: you are not alone in this. Many people with complex PTSD experience intrusive thoughts, and there is hope for healing and recovery. Have you ever felt like your mind was a million miles away, like you just couldn't focus on anything no matter how hard you tried? Difficulty concentrating is another common symptom of complex PTSD, and it can be incredibly frustrating. It's like your brain is constantly on high alert, scanning for danger, and it doesn't have the energy or the capacity to focus on anything else. Everyday tasks, like reading a book or having a conversation, can feel overwhelming and impossible. This lack of focus can impact every aspect of your life, from your work to your relationships to your overall well-being. It's like you're constantly trying to catch up, but you can never quite get there. But here's the thing: difficulty concentrating doesn't have to control your life. There are strategies and techniques that can help you regain your focus and reclaim your mental clarity. It takes time and effort, but it is possible to find peace and focus again. Do you find yourself snapping at loved ones, feeling easily irritated by things that never bothered you before? Irritability and anger are common responses to trauma, and they're often symptoms of complex PTSD. It's like you're carrying around a heavy weight of unresolved emotions, and even the smallest things can set you off. Your fuse is short, and you might find yourself lashing out at others or withdrawing into yourself. This anger isn't who you are at your core. It's a symptom of the trauma you've endured, a way for your body to express the pain and fear that you've been holding on to. It's important to remember that you're not alone in feeling this way. Many people with complex PTSD struggle with anger and irritability. The key is to understand where these feelings are coming from and to find healthy ways to express them. Healing is possible, and there are ways to manage your anger and find peace within yourself. You know, when we talk about trauma, we often talk about the visible scars, the flashbacks, the nightmares. But there are invisible scars too, ones that burrow deep inside and whisper insidious lies. And one of the heaviest burdens, my friends, is guilt and shame. People struggling with complex PTSD, especially those who've endured the horrors of sexual trauma or the soul-crushing weight of childhood abuse, But here's the truth that needs to be heard loud and clear. It's not your fault. You were a child. You deserved love, protection. And nobody, absolutely nobody, deserves to carry the weight of another person's actions. Imagine building walls around your heart, brick by painful brick, not out of anger, not out of spite, but out of a desperate need to survive. That's what detachment can feel like for someone battling complex PTSD. After enduring profound trauma, whether it's the relentless horrors of war or the soul-crushing betrayal of prolonged abuse, the world can feel like a dangerous, unpredictable place. And but impenetrable nonetheless. And behind those walls, they exist, but they don't truly live. They observe, but they don't fully participate. And that, my friends, is a tragedy in and of itself. You know, we often think of trauma as something that only affects the mind, something we can push down and ignore. But the truth is, our bodies remember. They keep the score, even when our minds try to forget. With complex PTSD, the pain isn't just in the past, it manifests in the present, physically. We're talking about persistent headaches that just won't quit, stomach aches that leave you feeling knotted up inside. And it's not just in your head. This is real, debilitating pain, often triggered by the ongoing stress and trauma that many people face. It's a constant reminder of the wounds that haven't yet healed. Remember, your body is trying to tell you something. These physical symptoms are a cry for help, a sign that it's time to address the underlying trauma. Trauma has a way of whispering lies into your soul, making you question your worth, your value. It tells you that you're broken, damaged, unworthy of love and happiness. This negative self-perception is a common symptom of complex PTSD. It's like looking in the mirror and not recognizing yourself, seeing only the pain and the scars left behind. And often, this negative self-talk is amplified when the trauma is repeated, like in cases of childhood abuse or relentless job-related stress. It chips away at your self-esteem, leaving you feeling small and insignificant. But here's the truth. Your worth is not defined by the trauma you've endured. You are worthy of love, of healing, of joy. Remember that. We've covered a lot today, and I know it can be overwhelming. But remember, you are not alone. Complex PTSD is a real condition, and there is help available. If you or someone you know is struggling with these symptoms, please reach out. Seek professional help. There is no shame in asking for support, in taking that first step towards healing. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more informative content.